Let's put our xTool M1 to work with some images from Canva to make a pretty upcycled sign for fall. Hi friends, I'm Jane from Sustain My Craft Habit and welcome back to our channel. Canva is a free software program that holds thousands of images that you can use for your crafting projects. I'm going to show you how to find designs and export them to use with xTool Creative Space for your laser cutting projects. After creating your Canva account, you'll create a new design. I like to use 8.5 by 11 dimensions. This will generate a blank canvas for you to make your design on. Then you'll simply search through the elements for whatever you're looking for. I was looking for sunflowers for this particular craft, and a bunch of different graphics came up. You'll want to choose one that's a simple black and white line art that will work well with the laser cutting machine. I picked this sunflower, moved it to my canvas, then I clicked the share button on the top right, download, and selected PNG with a transparent background for my image. I selected the page I wanted to export and then clicked done and download. This will download to your computer's folder wherever your downloads go, and it'll be there available to now upload into Creative Space. After I imported the image into Creative Space, I clicked on the image and then pressed this Trace Image button, which creates a detailed tracing of your design as a second layer. I then selected and deleted the original image, and the traced image is the one that we're going to use for the project. Now, all these sections that are selected, we're going to set that as layer 1 and mark it to score as the processing type. I then used the outline tool to create this outline around my design and just adjusted the offset to where I would like it. I selected that layer and changed it to layer 2 by adjusting the color to red and set that function to cut. Now you can select this image and the offset and copy and paste. I even rotated one and flipped one to make them look like different flowers. Creative Space is xTool's software program that runs all their laser cutting machines. It has projects and templates that you can make in there, or you can upload your own designs as we are here. For the next step on the right panel, we select the material that we're going to use, double check the thickness, and specify whether it's raised off the surface. Next, we hit Process and load the wood into the machine. Now I'm using the honeycomb base with the riser on my xTool, and so I'm just positioning the wood onto the honeycomb panel, and I like to use these magnetic pieces to hold it down nice and flat. And once you close the lid, the software will show an image of the wood so that you can position your designs exactly where you want it to cut. You can see here that the laser will first score or engrave the design that we've specified in the surface, and then it will go around that offset line and actually cut all the way through the material. And this is what it's going to look like when it's all done. So beautiful, my 3 sunflowers, and you can simply then unclick those magnetic pieces and lift your wood out. If it cut through properly, you'll see that they just separate right out there. And now we have these 3 beautiful sunflowers to use for our crafting. I repeated all these steps with a slightly thinner piece of balsa wood that I got from Amazon, and I'll be sure to link all the materials and the designs that I used in the description below. This one is so pretty. It said stop and smell the flowers, which seemed perfect to go along with my sunflowers. So I did the same process, imported the image into Creative Space, set the words to the score function, and then this offset line to cut. And here we go. It did the trick. It only had this one little spot that didn't cut all the way through. I'm not sure why, but I was able to just kind of snap it off for this particular piece. So now I have all the pieces, and I wanted to use this tray that I got from the thrift store to create the sign. If you've been following along here at Sustain My Craft Habit, you know that we love to upcycle, paint, and make over anything that we find. But this particular tray looked pretty good as it was. I think it was $1.25. So instead I focused on painting and embellishing the wood cutouts. The goal with these flowers is that I didn't want to paint them a solid color because I wanted those pretty details of the score lines to still be visible through. So instead I used a bit of water and some acrylic paints in yellow, orange, and red to create almost a watercolor or a stain type of effect. I started here with the yellow paint, mixed equal parts of water and the paint, stirred it together, and then used that to paint some of the petals of the sunflowers. For the other petals, I used an alternating color or even blended some of them together. The smaller sunflower, as you'll see in a bit, I think I used all yellow for that one, and it really just helped to give them each their own different effect. I repeated this process with some brown paint for the centers of the sunflowers. Since the tray had kind of gray undertones to it, I decided to stain the bigger piece with a light gray faux stain. So I mixed again some white paint, a little bit of black paint, and some water, and created this really thinned out gray paint and brushed that all over the surface to tone down kind of those warm tones in the wood. I used just a piece of paper to wipe off any of the excess and then dried that before painting in with more acrylic paint the actual phrase. For the lettering, I used the full strength of the acrylic paints in the same colors, so the yellow, the red, and the orange. This part did take a little while, but was really relaxing and satisfying to do. I felt like I was coloring like a kid again. Before I even finished painting all the letters, I wanted to put it together to see how it was going to look. Yes, I got a little impatient, so I put this on the center of the tray or frame, whatever this is, and then glued my sunflowers kind of all around it. For the final touches, I added a double bow in this wide rust orange ribbon that I found at the Dollar Tree. After trimming it to create dovetails, I glued that in the top right corner. And then to finish off the piece, I tucked in some of these rich burgundy or wine-colored burlap leaves that I had picked up actually at Hobby Lobby. And that's how we used our xTool M1 and some graphics from Canva to create a beautiful fall sign with an upcycled tray from the thrift store. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more nature-inspired upcycling and craft ideas. Happy crafting!